I got a story to tell you. It's an old one, been passed down in my family for generations. I suppose you could call it an urban legend, if you want to be polite. But that's just a pretty word for something too strange to prove and too true to forget. Nobody ever wrote it down proper until now, far as I know. But the story's been told and retold, and I figure it's my turn. Like all good legends, it's got roots in the unknown. This one starts in Arkansas. I won't say where exactly, not because I'm trying to be mysterious, though I suppose I am, but because the town don't really exist no more. Wiped clean off the map, and not in the closed post office, and now it's a ghost town way. I mean, nothing remains. Not a board or a brick, just trees. It happened in the 1910s. That's what we figure anyway, based on what we know. The story follows a man named Elijah, who worked as a surveyor. He was the kind of man who preferred walking over riding, pencil over pistol. My granddad always said Elijah didn't say much unless he had something worth saying, and when he did speak, people listened. At the time, Elijah was contracted by the railway company to map potential routes through the southern Ozarks. That was no small job. The land was rugged, dense with trees and ravines, and full of places no man had named yet. Still, he took it in stride. They say he left town with a hand-drawn map, a compass, and a mule named Shirley. He wasn't alone either. The company had assigned him a small team, a young cartographer named Luke, a cook named Harriet who'd traveled more than half the country with different crews, and a hired gun named Cole, in case of bandits or worse. Now, Cole was the opposite of Elijah in every way. Loud, foul-mouthed, and always itching for something to shoot at. But he was good with a rifle, and Elijah respected skill. They were out about a week before it happened. Elijah had picked a valley that wasn't on any map, with a slow river running through it and a thick wall of pines on every side. The soil was soft, which he liked, because that meant easier grading if a track ever came through. But there was something off about the place, and I don't just mean the silence. According to Harriet's account, which she gave years later to my great-grandfather, they first noticed it at night. No crickets, no frogs, just wind and leaves, and even that sounded wrong somehow, like the trees were breathing. On the third night, while Elijah was sketching a ridgeline under lantern light, Luke came back from relieving himself, white as a sheet. He said he heard a voice, a woman's voice, calling from the trees. Said it wasn't just calling, it was singing. A lullaby, soft and low. Cole laughed and told him to lay off the corn whiskey, but Harriet didn't laugh. She said she heard it too. That night, nobody slept well. Come morning, Elijah said they'd wrap up the survey of the valley that day and move on. But they never did, because around noon they found the tree. It was unlike anything they'd ever seen. A massive, gnarled thing with bark like blackened bone and leaves darker than pitch. Its trunk was twisted, spiraling upward like it had grown in pain. And near the base, halfway buried in the roots, was something that made Harriet scream and Cole swear so loud it echoed through the hills. A face. I know how that sounds, but it wasn't carved. It wasn't painted. It was just there, grown into the wood like the tree had swallowed a man whole, and his scream got frozen into the bark. Elijah got close and touched the bark, and according to Harriet, his whole body shuddered. He staggered back and dropped his compass. Said the thing was warm, not sun warm, but alive warm. And that's when the whispering started. Soft at first, like breath through leaves, then louder. Too many voices to count. Not speaking, just humming, low and broken, like a tune played backward. That night, Luke tried to run. Harriet caught him, sobbing and packing his things. He said he'd seen the tree again, this time in his dreams, but not just the face. He said there were more faces, hundreds of them, all twisted and screaming from inside the bark, and they were watching him. Elijah didn't laugh. He took it seriously. He even went back in the dark to mark the tree's location on the map. But when he got there, it had moved. It wasn't where it had been that day. It was 30 yards east, and the face was gone. Cole wanted to burn it down, said it wasn't natural. But when he poured lamp oil at the base, the flames wouldn't catch. Not even the grass around it would burn. It was like the air turned damp and heavy the moment fire got close. That night, the mule died. Shirley had been tethered near camp, docile as always. In the morning, they found her twisted in her own reins, eyes wide, mouth open like she'd screamed herself to death. The camp started falling apart. Luke wouldn't speak. Harriet was praying every hour. Cole said he saw something move between the trees, long arms, no eyes. And Elijah started drawing the tree, over and over, on every page, even in the margins of maps. He stopped eating, just stared at the woods. Then on the 6th day, he walked into them, alone, left everything behind but his notebook. He told Harriet, "I have to hear what it's trying to say." That was the last time they saw him. Cole tried to track him, found his footprints near the river. Then nothing, just vanished. Harriet said the woods swallowed sound after that. Birds, wind, water, gone. Dead quiet. They left that night, carried what they could. Luke died on the trail 2 days later. No wounds, no illness, just stopped. Fell over in his sleep and didn't wake up. Harriet and Cole made it back to town, but neither of them stayed long. Harriet told the story once, to my great-grandfather, then left for Tennessee. Cole drank himself to death a year later. Claimed the tree visited him in his sleep, whispering its name. He never said what that name was. But the strangest part, the part that always stuck with me, is the map. My family kept Elijah's notebook. Pages stained, edges burned, but still legible. Most of it is normal. Elevations, sketches, compass headings. But there's one page that's different. It's a perfect map of the valley. Topographic, detailed. And in the middle, in red pencil, is a circle. Next to it, in Elijah's handwriting, it sings when the sun goes down. No one could ever find that valley again. Not with GPS, not with satellite, not even with Elijah's map. That whole area was resurveyed in the 1950s and again in the 1990s. Nothing matched, like the land shifted, like the tree didn't want to be found. But my uncle swears he saw it once, hiking alone in the Ozarks years ago. Said he smelled something sweet, like honey and rot, heard humming. And there, in a hollow between two hills, was a black tree. He didn't get close. just turned around and ran. Did he imagine it? Maybe. Maybe not. What I can tell you is that Elijah never came back, and that notebook, still in our family, locked in a box in my father's attic. I've seen the page with the tree. I've heard the story a dozen times. And I know this. If you ever find a valley where the birds won't sing and the trees are too still, if you smell honey where no flowers grow, if you hear a lullaby when the wind is quiet, don't go in. And if you see the tree, don't listen. Not even once.